Tonight is just me and Lee, and we are going to be talking about who's coming in and who's going out. Quite a few going out in the next few. Sorry, now I'm mucking about with Periscope here. Sorry. Oh, we are live on Periscope. I can confirm. So there's a few going out this summer, and a few going out this summer, which is quite worrying, really. And obviously, the transfer merry-go-round is nearly over. I'm happy to say, but let's speak to the judge. Judge, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, Craig. Not too bad. Been a bit quiet this weekend with no game, isn't it? So
a bit boring, isn't it?
Bit boring, got to say that, So it is a bit boring.
Good evening to you all on YouTube. Comments coming through already on YouTube. And good hello to you all if you're watching us on Periscope. Isn't it great? Live on Periscope as well. 1 second there now. Someone's just coming in for some keys. Live on Periscope as well, so you don't even have to come to YouTube. You can watch us on Twitter. So it's great. Oh, and we've got some comments coming through on Periscope as well. Brilliant. So that says to me, lovely jubbly, I've done my job. We're all connected. Let's go. Lee. Aubameyang. It won't go away, will it? It's not... It's something now that's... I don't care now if he comes or not. Last week I was like, rubbing my hands together. But no. I couldn't care less now if he comes. We've got people telling us he's coming. We've got people on Twitter claiming to be related to Danny Fisman and David Dean and all these business. And, telling us not to worry. It's going to happen. What's your feeling towards this Aubameyang situation?
I am worried. I've got to say, because I think at the end of it, it should be done now. If the player wants to come, they've said they want to sell at a certain price. Arsenal, as we all know, penny pinch all the time, and that's what gets me. It really does, Craig. You can stick up for Arsenal in so many ways. You can stick up for Arsene Wenger in so many ways, but when it comes down to it, is that Arsenal fans pay the highest paid prices in the Emirates, in the Emirates than any other ground. They're making money tenfold. They're making money all over the place. We've just sold our best player for pittance. Let's be honest. Even Mourinho's mocking us by saying it's a free transfer. So just come out there and just do the right thing by the fans and get the players in, that we need, and don't penny pinch. It's like if I go into the bar at the Arsenal, which I don't, by the way, but if I did, and I said, right, pint of lager and it's $4.50, I ain't going to say to them, I'll give you £4 for it. Are they going to give it to me, Craig? They're not going to, you know what I mean? If I go to the shop and it's 50 quid for a shirt, they're not going to say, yeah, you can have it for 30. So we've got to stop, at the end of the day, they don't really want to sell him, so we've got to force their hand. And if it's 60 million, I don't think in today's market that's a bad thing. And we just got to pay it. And listen, if we don't buy anybody, come Wednesday night, that game on Saturday is going to be poisonous. It's going to be a lot of angry supporters there. There's going to be protests and all that. And do you know what? Quite frankly, Craig, if anybody turns around and says, it might affect the performance, it might affect the result, well, I'm afraid that the Arsenal Football Club have done that by not doing the deal. Simple as that, you know what I mean? So that's it, you know what I mean? So why should the fans care about it if they're showing no feelings towards the fans? And I have to say that, I honestly hope and pray that Arsenal get this deal done, and a couple more along the way as well. I really do. But we've had a kick in the teeth, Craig. I don't give a monkey's what anybody says. By losing Sanchez to Manchester United is a kick in the teeth.
Very hard to swallow. Yeah.
Very hard to swallow. We left the Emirates. We left the Highbury. So this sort of thing was never to happen again, because financially we'd have the clout. 12 years later, it's still happening. You know, get your head around it. 12 years. 12 years of fans paying through the nose, through whatever, then turning round and saying, look, this is what they said to us. And people can make it up and say whatever. We're going to move to the Emirates to compete with the big boys, but for the first 5, 6, 7 years, you Arsenal fans are going to have to pay the highest prices, and also every year we're going to have to sell one of our best players to buy everything. And we accepted that. We accepted it. We said, yeah, we followed that. 12 years later, we're still selling players. Now they're turning round. Arsene Wenger turns round and says, you know, we haven't got the money to financially compete with Manchester United, right? If that is the case, why are we letting contracts run down like Mesut Ozil and Jack Wilshere? They could walk away for nothing. I would say that's a 80-odd million pound that we're just going to throw away. You know, it's not fair on us fans. It really ain't. You know, we've just got to go now and just do the deal. You know, look, somebody said to me today the Aubameyang thing might be a complete, you know, like cover up for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if that's the case, as long as we get the player in, you know, I accept these deals take a little bit of time. I accept that, but when a club comes out and says you can have that player for 60 million, it's not unreasonable, by the way. Then you know what you're dealing with. You know, obviously Dortmund know that he wants to go, Craig. They know that. You know what I mean? They've had him in a room and saying, do you want to stay here? No. Now, if Arsenal turn around and say, right, no, we're not prepared to pay 60, but we're going to pay 50 million in the summer. Again, whoever's conducting his business needs to be sacked, because come the summer, we've got a chance of still getting into the Champions League via the league places. We're 5 points off of it. You know, with Aubameyang, we've got a chance of making up those 5 points. Without him, chance. And don't anybody turns round, I don't give a monkeys, and I tell you this now, I don't give a damn how good Mkhitaryan is or he's not. He is not a replacement for Sanchez. Let's get that right. You know what I mean? He might be a replacement for Walcott or whoever, but he is not a replacement for Sanchez. He's not going to get 30 goals a season. He's not going to do this and do that. The only thing different is he won't give away the ball so much in the final third. That's the only thing that he won't do. Like, you know what I mean? But that is where we're at, and it's got to be sorted out now. You know, and it's painful, isn't it, Craig? Come on,
it's horrible, mate. It's absolutely horrible. I mean, it's all very. That's why I don't really join in on the things, you know, to do with the process. People say to me, "Oh, you should be using your channel to get everyone going," and this and that and the other. But it's all very, very well for me to sit here and say, you know, we should go protest and all that. But I can't be there, do you know. And if I could be there, I'd be there with everyone, you know. And the protests do need to happen. I've got to say that they do need to happen. But can I really sit here and back the protest? No, because I can't be there. Do you know what I mean? The last time there was a protest, I would have loved to have been there. You know, the one with the ones with the signs being held up in the stadium. I'd love to have been there. But something's got to happen, because we have been sold. We've been sold a lie, and what hurts me the most about it is to see Highbury the way it is now. That's what hurts me the most. Seeing it as a block of flats, it absolutely kills me to think inside those walls of those flats. You know, there's memories, there's nights that we'll never forget. There's titles, there's FA Cups, there's League Cups, I don't know. It's just
that for me, Craig, is the thing that hurts. You know what I mean? Like I'm, you know, old school fan that's been brought up on Highbury. You know, one of the reasons I supported Arsenal was because of Highbury. It's something special, and they took that away from us. You know, with the promise of I'm not saying winning titles and whatever, but they promised us a better way of life. If I'll be honest with it, like, you know, and they've not, you know. We left there in 2006, you know, Champions League final. We're now in the Europa League, and people are saying, you know, oh, it's fantastic that we're in the League Cup. We are in the League Cup, and I'm brilliant that we left Highbury to compete in the League Cup. You know what I mean, and win that. It was to get into the bigger things like the Champions League and compete with that, and go for the Premier League. I accept, and I do accept that the goalpost changed when Chelsea come into the league and Manchester City come in with the money and everything like that. But in saying that, the TV revenue has gone tenfold to what they thought it would do 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So don't come back and say, oh, they ain't got this and they ain't got that. The influx of money from the TV is extortionate to what they ever planned. So it might have been taken away from us from one hand, but we've been given it back on the other. Now, also, Craig, which is a big point when they talk about funding and everything, and ask us fans to go and spend all that money on shirts, warm-up tops and whatever, not just once, 3 times, every single year. Yeah. And to the credit to the Arsenal fan, they've done that. I've been there in the pre-season, you know, like the Emirates Cup. Craig, I'm telling you, they were queuing out the door to buy all that merchandise. Yeah. So Arsenal fans have put their money into this club. Now, all we're asking is that you, as a football club, spend it back out. Now, you can turn around and say to, you know, the net profits of it all. We've just sold Walcott in this window. We've just sold Coquelin in this window, right? Now, Arsene Wenger says he don't like a transfer window. Well, he doesn't seem to mind selling the players in the transfer window, do they? They don't mind doing that. Not, no, certainly not. So buy some. Please buy some. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we need a centre-half as well. You know, we do need one because I think Koscielny's come back and done really well in the last 2 games. I don't think anybody can deny that. But he's not reliable now with the injuries and things like that. Mertesacker is, you know, unfortunately gone now. You know what I mean? Sentimental reasons, we give him another year's contract. So you know, we're quite happy to give a player that's not going to really contribute that much. You know, I don't know how much he's on. Not say if he's on 50 grand a week. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's sentiment. We've done it with Santi Cazorla, knowing that he wasn't going to be playing again. You know, which is lovely. You know what I mean? We're prepared to do that. So come on, be prepared to do something for us fans.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some players that actually, before we do, there's just a great comment coming on YouTube there, actually, from Adam. And he said, the Emirates Stadium, you know, the Emirates Stadium is a beautiful stadium. It is. You know, we're all banging on about moving from Highbury to the Emirates and how we were all sold a dream of that. But he's right. The Emirates Stadium is a beautiful stadium. To anyone that's been there, it is. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful stadium. Lacks atmosphere, though. There is no atmosphere in that ground whatsoever. And for me, that's a lot to do with, you know, the Emirates was built for corporate. You know, if you ask me, you know, all those, you know, all the fancy boxes and all this business. That's the kind of customer they want. They don't want the modern day football fan like me or you, or that will go to football and sing and shout. And you know, it seems like they wanted to get away from all that and just line the pockets. You know.
Well, yeah, it's a great point. Listen, it is a fantastic stadium. I'll tell you, like, you know, you see it when you see it in the dark, or you see it on the train as you're going past. It's magnificent, you know. And if you actually, you know, see it from high up as well, like on a plane or something like that, it's remarkable. And it's one of the best stadiums in the world. And it is, you know, I suppose it could be said it's built for corporate, but I also think that it's built for us sort of fans as well, because it's proved that against Chelsea on Wednesday. The atmosphere was fantastic in there. Tottenham, it was fantastic. Manchester United, it was fantastic. You know, it just lacks a little bit of atmosphere when the expectation of a team, say, you know, when Swansea or Bournemouth, or no disrespect to those sides, those sort of teams come to town, the fans don't seem to be up for it as well as as they should be. But that's, listen, Old Trafford's the same, Chelsea's the same. They're all quiet sort of grounds now, so you just have to accept that. But I agree with you, like Craig. You know what I mean? Like the hospitality, they make fortunes out of it. You know what I mean? And if you go have a little look, you go into the corporate side of things and try and book something on there. I mean, they're always full up. It's always sold out, and it's a hell of a lot of money. It's money that the average fan could not afford. You know what I mean? Like myself, me and you included, couldn't afford to go there. You know what I mean? It's a once in a lifetime visit for us. You know what I mean? Like, I've been lucky, I've been invited out there, but it's a fantastic thing to have. I'm not saying it's not, but my God, you have to pay for it. And even with tickets, Craig, you know what I mean? Like, you want to go to Spurs versus Arsenal, it's going to cost you around about £90. You know what I mean? You get your head around that £90. You know what I mean? Just to get in, So it is a magnificent place, but at the end of the day, we won titles at Highbury. You know what I mean? And
European finals at Highbury.
Yeah, and we might win the Michelin star for best restaurants up at the Emirates, but we ain't got no titles. You know what I mean? And that's it. We've got a few FA Cups, which we have done, and that's good. But somebody said to me today, do you remember when Arsenal won I don't know if you remember, they won the League Cup in 1987, beating the great Liverpool side. And it was the catalyst to move for 89, if you think about it. You know what I mean? It was, we've got a trophy, and it was the momentum that we built to go on and win trophies, like leagues. We seem to win an FA Cup at the minute, and it seems to be, that's good enough. We don't have to appease the fans. We've done it. We've done that. Do you know what I mean? Instead of somebody saying, right, let's kick on now. We've got winners here now. Let's go on and go for some big things. And my thing is that it ain't going to cost us. I don't want us to be a club. I've got to say this now. I don't want us to be a club like Manchester United that turn around and say, I'll tell you what, give me Pogba, and I think we've got a chance of winning the league. Okay, Jose, there's 89 million for Pogba. I need another 75 million for Lukaku. There's another 75 million for Lukaku. No, I need another 80 million now for Sanchez. You know what I mean? I don't want Arsenal to be like that. I do want us to be realistic in what we do. But when we sell someone like Sanchez and a player like Aubameyang comes up for 60 million, I expect Arsenal to be all over that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
I don't have to be expecting us to when Neymar come up for I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? Like, and when you're talking like
exactly.
200 million,
no one's expected us to go out and get Ronaldo or Neymar or it's unrealistic. We know that. A lot of us know that. Arsene Wenger was saying that he can compete with transfer price, but he can't compete with the wages. People are saying, why didn't, basically what he's saying, he probably could afford, let's say if Gareth Bale came up for 100 million tomorrow, excuse me, he could afford to buy Gareth Bale, but could he pay his wages? That's a different thing,
Well, that's fair enough. And then if that's how they feel, and that's how Arsene Wenger feels like that, go fine, that's fine. We can't do that. Okay, we can't never compete with that. So instead of charging you over the odds £90 for a ticket, we're going to charge you 50 quid like everybody else.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get a little bit more accepted to the rule. But when they turn around and say to you, we can't afford to do that, and then when you're paying £30 more or £40 more than a Man United ticket, there's something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and when and I'll say this now, and this shoots it down to flames. When Liverpool Football Club go and buy Van Dijk for £75 million, right, and they also must have paid a lot of him in wages, don't tell me that we can't do that. You can tell me you can't compete with Manchester City. You can tell me you can't compete with Chelsea. because of the money that they got. You can tell me you can't compete with Manchester United because they're the biggest club. Don't tell me Liverpool, because they're on the same scale as us. In fact, our stadium's bigger than theirs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've just spent millions and millions of pounds building a new stand. Don't tell me that we can't compete with Liverpool. All right? Don't, because they're you know. So if they can pay £75 million for a centre half and its wages, we can spend 60 million on a player. Now, someone will come back and turn around and say, well, they've just sold Coutinho, that's why they've got all their money. Exactly, because you know why, Craig? They're being run properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been running properly. If we was run properly, we could have sold Sanchez for so much money 2 years ago, and reinvested in the money that we've got. So you look at it from that point. The reason we can't compete with those teams is fair enough. The reason we can't compete with Liverpool is because we're not being run properly, and that is it. That's it in a nutshell. Coutinho, 140 million. Is he better than Sanchez? The only difference.
Yeah. He ain't better than, so I don't think he's better than Sanchez.
No. But we got enough. We got. Get your head around it.
Massive point, mate. Massive. Get your head around that. Yeah. 140 million. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got Mkhitaryan. Great bit of business, Arsenal. Great, fantastic. So don't tell me that you can't afford to do wages and you can't afford to do this when you throw money down the other end. It's as simple as that. It doesn't wash. It washes with so many people. It ain't washing with me.
Yeah.
And the press, you know, can fancy it up as they like. It is a fact. You know, the club is being run properly, or it's not. And the fact of the matter is, it's not, because we can't compete with Liverpool. All right? So he can give me the other three teams, he can throw them out. You know what I mean? I accept that. And then it goes on to my fourth point. If we can't compete with those three teams, right? Thank you very much, Mr. Kroenke. Sell and let somebody else come in that can.
Yeah.
And we've got someone on the board, or someone that goes every game with just as much, enough shares to say, hold on, I can do that. So again, what's the problem? Inviting me onto the board. Why don't we? Because,
well, obviously, Kroenke doesn't want him on there, does he?
Right.
I mean, you know, it's so obvious.
So if he don't, what is this man keep saying? Well, I don't want him on the board. Well, do something about it then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't want you here, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
I'll stop you there, Lee. You know, there's a few comments coming in. Why are we always negative? We're not always negative. We're talking about Arsenal at the moment, and unfortunately,
listen.
There's a negative. The negative is that, you know, like Lee has been saying, we're being run poorly.
It's being run poorly. Yeah. The positive is we're not relegating. You know, I'll tell you a positive. We're not like Newcastle. There's a positive. You know what I mean? Like, those fans don't deserve what's going on with them at the moment. You know what I mean? They haven't called for that. So there's a massive positive with that. But I will say again about Newcastle. Where are they? Where are they situated? They've still got St James's Park. They've still got their Holy Grail. Arsenal Football Club took that away from us. You know what I mean? That is my issue. It's not about being negative. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's the fantastic. We said that the stadium's great. It's got a great atmosphere. It's fantastic. We got to the cup final. Can't wait. You know what I mean? And I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to say, do you know what? I've watched Manchester City today. We've got a bloody good chance of beating him if we you know, I mean, even if we've got Aubameyang on the bench, we've got a very, very good chance of beating them, because they're not as tasty as what they were 2 months ago before Christmas. You know what I mean? And I tell you, go on.
The good point you made about taking it away is have a look at West Ham. You know, have a look at what's happened to them. Exactly the same thing has happened to West Ham. And I've got a couple of West Ham fans there on Twitter. They're absolutely distraught about what's going on. Been taken away from Upton Park, moved into this massive new stadium, promised the world, and they're out of the FA Cup, and staring down the barrel of relegation. So I mean, there's a positive. We're not like West Ham yet.
No, I'd say one of the fantastic things about Arsenal, I've got a couple of real good West Ham mates, is that not only they took their ground away, Craig, they've took all the pubs away from them, the surroundings of everything, because they moved to Stratford. You know, when I go to Arsenal now, instead of turning left to Highbury, I turn right. Everything else is still there. All the pubs that you used to go to and go around, everything else is still there. We've still got that. So that is, a massive positive from Arsenal. And, I'm not a hater of the Emirates like certain people are, you know what I mean? I understand the reasons that they wanted to do that, but I have to say, is it for football reasons or is it for greed? And at the moment, I mean,
the latter.
Exactly.
That's it. Good evening to you all if you're watching us on YouTube. Hello, and good evening to you all if you are joining us on Periscope for the first time. I've got the stream running next to me here. Everything seems to be running pretty smoothly. If you are watching on Periscope, don't forget to give us a retweet. And if you are watching on YouTube for the first time and you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it now. Lee, let's talk about some players. I'm going to bring a graphic up on the screen, unfortunately, that you can't see, but everyone else will be able to see. Out of contract players, the main out of contract players for me this summer being Jack Wilshere, Mesut Ozil and Santi Cazorla. Obviously Cazorla, I tweeted it out the other day that I don't think we should be offering Cazorla a new contract. Pains me to say it, but look, he's ghost. He's never going to be the Santi Cazorla that left, the Santi Cazorla before he got injured. I think giving Cazorla a contract is just another waste of money. I don't know why Arsene Wenger likes to say, "Oh, sure, yeah, look, we'll give him an extra year." It's just wasted money for me. Cazorla's never going to be the same. His ankle, I don't know if anyone's seen the pictures. I don't know if you've seen the pictures. Some people,
horrendous.
It's horrendous. Some people are saying that we should keep Cazorla on just for a year to give him a coaching role. Well, why can't we give him a coaching role now? He's not going to be good enough. I'm sorry. It hurts me to say it, but he's not good enough for us anymore. The next player, Mesut Ozil, is he going to sign a contract? If he doesn't sign it soon, I think it's this week, he's free to talk to anyone after this week. Jack Wilshere, the same. Jack Wilshere and Mesut Ozil next week can be talking to people.
They can talk to them now.
Can they?
Yeah, it's the 1st of January. They can talk to teams, foreign teams.
Foreign teams, but yeah, okay. I mean, I've been reading on the internet today. Again, I'm reading on the internet. People are coming out and saying that Ozil's a Juventus target, that he's a Manchester United target, that he's a Barcelona target. I've heard nothing on Wilshere. Out of those three, Lee, Wilshere, Ozil, Cazorla, Wilshere and Ozil surely have got to be, they've got to be first priority.
Well, yeah, it's good front three, by the way. If that was to be, so just someone like Aubameyang in front of them, that'd have been great. Listen, I think just going to go touch on to the Cazorla thing. Jack Wilshere had to have a year in Bournemouth to come where we were. We'd done a show probably a year ago now, and people were saying that's the last time we see Jack Wilshere in an Arsenal shirt. He's not going to be the same when he comes back. He's proved that everybody wrong with some scintillating performances. But he had a year in Bournemouth to build up his stamina.
Is that I have said that sending Jack Wilshere out on loan to Bournemouth was probably
brilliant.
Could be the best bit of business Arsene Wenger ever did.
Yeah, I said it at the time. People Wenger for that. I said it was the best thing to do because he's had a year out of football. It meant that he was playing week in, week out, training. There weren't the pressure. I'll be honest, I never thought he would get to the heights that he has done now. After watching him a few games for Bournemouth last year, been brilliant. But it will only be a genius bit of work from Arsene Wenger if Wilshere signs the contract. If he doesn't sign the contract, it's absolute waste of time. So, but I do think that there's probably saying that Wilshere will sign because I think that he has gone on record to say that he does want to sign. He doesn't really want to go anywhere else. And I think also by him going down to Bournemouth, he's realised how good it is at Arsenal. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be one. The one with Ozil worries me. One reason it worries me is because if he doesn't sign within the next week How can they convince him to sign?
Yeah. The thing that worries me is Mkhitaryan Ozil's replacement.
Well, it could well be. It could well be. But, and I'm going to just put myself in Mesut Ozil's position. You know, I would be sitting there and going, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has gone, because this is what I do. I say, look, I'm willing to sign for the club, but I just want to see what you're going to do. Now, if they bring in Aubameyang and they've got Mkhitaryan and they bring in a centre half, he could turn around and say to him, you know, I'm the main man here. This could be great for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be the main man, and with all these star players coming. But if they don't buy no one, I personally can't see him signing. So this is how big this week is for Arsenal Football Club. Not just on the signing of some players. I think it's also to keep players like Ozil. I really do, because I think that Mesut Ozil, with a price tag of 30-40 million pound on his head, will not get that many suitors.
No.
Mesut Ozil, with a free agent, will get lots of suitors.
Of course he will.
So, you know, he's not going to be shy of a team next season. And I think now, you know, it's a massive week for Arsenal. What worries me a little bit about Arsenal, they've had a weekend off. I did expect to see some sort of action on that, you know what I mean, and with Wiltshire, you know what I mean. Like, I keep saying, oh yeah, he's close to signing, or he's not close. You know, if he's not close to signing, why the hell have they not put him up for sale?
Yeah, I
mean that is the key. And I don't give a, if he's not going to sign, he should not be here next week at Mesut Ozil. Simple as that. As great as he is, he shouldn't be here next week. Well, you know, because you know they're pleading poverty all the time, and we can't afford to. We need funds in to get somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's a big week for Arsenal on that front.
Absolutely. What about Cazorla, Lee? I mean, do you agree with me? You know?
Yeah, I am with you, because he's been out for over a year. Well, it'll be 2 years. You know, to be out of football for 2 years, to come back, you know, and if he was to come in, he would only be a squad player. And whether that would suffice or not, I don't know. You know,
I think so.
He'd have to really hit the ground running, wouldn't he, in pre-season, if that was the case. And you know, listen, he's been a fantastic footballer for us. You know what I mean? And listen, if he was 23, 24 like Jack Wilshere, you just say give him another contract.
Oh, you would, yeah.
To come back. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The fact of the matter is, I think he's 33, 34 now. That. You've got to be. Football's a ruthless business, Craig. And
he probably knows it himself, doesn't
he? Yeah, and you know, he could probably go and play for somebody else in Spain or lower leagues, and you know, someone here as well. And I think that, yeah, I you know, it's a sad thing to say, but you know, it comes to us all, Craig. You know, time comes to us all. Unfortunately, his time come probably 2 years because of an injury, but you know. 33, 34, you'd probably be, if he was playing now, he probably wouldn't be playing regular. You know, it's sad, very sad.
It is very. Just on that note, other players out of contract, if my information serves me correctly, I'm sure it does. There's a website there that shows you all the who is out of contract. Joe Campbell is out of contract. Cole Jenkinson is out of contract. Matt Macy is out of contract, which is quite an interesting one. And Per Mertesacker out of contract, all at the end of the season. Now, the scary bit is who is out of contract in 2019. I've just brought up the graphic there on the screen. Out of contract in the summer of 2019, Lee. Petr Cech, David Ospina, Danny Welbeck, Nacho Monreal, Matthew Debussy, Akpom, and Jeff Adelaide, all out of contract. So that's Matt Macy out of contract at the end of the summer. Petr Cech out of contract next year. David Ospina out of contract next year. That's 3 goalkeepers, all out of contract.
Aaron Ramsey's out of contract as well. Like,
Aaron Ramsey, absolutely, yeah. Aaron Ramsey is someone that I forgot to put in there, but I did write down. I was rushing to do it on my lunch break.
No worries.
Someone else who I've actually left out as well is Olivier Giroud. He's also out of contract in 2019. So yeah, add to that list Ramsey and Olivier Giroud. That's pretty scary. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 players out of contract next summer. And I mean, if they're going to run those contracts down,
well, they're not going to. I'd imagine that Asprina will depart this season with the club's blessing. If I'll be honest, Monreal tied down for at least another year, 2 years, I think. Been absolutely outstanding and deserves that.
What about Welbeck?
Well, I'm sorry, but if Welbeck's haggling over a contract, see you later. You know what I mean? Like, he's had a year with us when he's got injured, so for him to be saying that he don't want to sign, see you later. As you know, I love Aaron Ramsey. I think he's a great player for us there. If he doesn't want to sign a new contract, see you later. Yeah. And bring in some players that we do.
I mean, there's another one there that I'd be saying, no, I wouldn't be given a new contract as well, is Petr Cech. Not for me. He needs replacing.
So he's got another year on it, yeah.
But he needs replacing this year. Yeah, he needs replacing in the summer.
Maybe Arsenal would probably go in and good business for me would be if they went and got someone like Jack Butland. Yeah.
Someone like everyone's saying that on the comments there.
Yeah, I can't see the comments, so I'd say Jack Butland with Checkers, the backup, playing the cup games and learning from him and all that, and then I would say Petr Cech takes over as a coach. Yeah. That would be the scenario for me.
More names for a goalkeeper coming in. Kasper Schmeichel, that's a good shout.
Yeah, good shout. Yeah. Somebody like that would be a good shout. I've been very, very impressed with him as a goalkeeper. So that would be a good one. Same sort of scenario as Jack Butland. Listen, I think it's a difficult position to fill, as you well know. But,
goalkeeper, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Manchester City got a snip for their fella that they got in goal for him now. I've been quite impressed with him.
The thing with a goalkeeper, especially, is that if you can get one in that's good enough and young enough. If you can get one in at 23, 24, an experienced goalkeeper, they're going to do you 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And
then we're going to get onto it again. It baffles me why we let Szczesny go.
Oh, don't.
If he has matured the way he has, why couldn't we just signed him on a longer contract, let Juventus have him for a couple of years, and then he'd have been ready, wouldn't he? So another one that don't make sense. I've been quite impressed with Martinez when he's played in goal, by the way, as a backup goalkeeper.
He's out. He hasn't done that bad, has he?
Yeah, he's out in Spain now and learning a bit. So, but he played a couple of games. I was very, very impressed with him. So, I do think that they need to address that. Obviously, that they do. I think Aspia, who I think's been absolutely brilliant for us as a backup goalkeeper, and that deserves to be.
He's a great clubman. He's a great clubman. He's like the kid in the playground that gets picked last. Doesn't care, and plays when he's called upon.
And then never lets us down.
No, he don't.
You know what I mean? He never lets us down.
He's made the odd mistake, of course.
Every goalkeeper does.
Every goalkeeper does, of course. I was a goalkeeper from the age of 8, so I mean, when a goalkeeper makes mistakes, it's fatal because there's no one to blame except yourself. But I've let the ball through my legs a couple of times. I'll tell you what, right? I never get it. Back in the under 10s when it might have been under 11s. I was playing for my local club, Elmdon, and we were playing in the Suffolk Open Cup, and we were playing this team from Great Yarmouth, and we'd already had 2 replays. We played them at our place and we drew 2-2. We played them at their place and we drew 3-3. And we were back down where I'm from playing them. And we were 2-1 up. I'd say there must have been about 5 minutes left. And this was when you could pass it back to the goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper could pick it up. And one of my mates, I forget who it was now, but as I'm sitting here now, I can remember it. The ball came to me, and all I had to do was pick it up. And I went down to get it, and it went straight through my legs and rolled in the goal. So we had to go back to Great Yarmouth for another replay, which we won 6-0.
Well,
you know, so, but I'll never forget that. I'll never ever forget that moment, because even at, you know, I was 11. I cried my eyes out. I did. Absolutely cried my eyes out. I wanted the ground to swallow me up. But yeah, we're going off topic a bit. Any mistakes from a goalkeeper, the finger is pointed at you and no one else.
No, that's it. So, you know, that's why I was never a goalkeeper, like, you know, so, you know, must be mad. But, yeah, and I say, I have to say that, you know, he's been a good servant for us, Spina, like, you know, so, I'm pretty sure, they'll all be happy, they'll all send him off with some nice messages, you know what I mean? So, not
what
like
about, you know, we've mentioned Monreal, we've mentioned Ramsey, we've mentioned Giroud. What about players like Adelaide Lee? You know, Jeff Adelaide. He's out of contract next season. I mean, he's not like Nelson, and you know, Nelson has broken into the first team. He's been playing in the Cup, the League Cup. Yes, Adelaide has played a couple of games with us in the Cup, but players like Akpom is another one.
Just hasn't.
No, they haven't, have they? I mean, are these? I don't think Adelaide's progressed either.
No, I think he's been injured, and if I believe he's just come back from injury. But you know, the pair of them, I thought a half decent player, but he's been on a couple of loans and he's never quite
not been prolific, has he?
No, and not hit the sort of like standards that we thought he was going to get. And that Jeff Adelaide, when he first came in, I thought he looked all right, but again, not progressed the way he should have done. And again, you know, listen, it's hard to get into the first team, you know, at the Arsenal from youth. You've got to be some sort of player. But I don't think that, you know, we're going to lose too much sleep. If I'll be honest, if those sort of guys go, and good luck to them, whatever they do, but I don't think they're going to quite hit the grade.
Yeah.
And you know, and I love to see those sort of players coming through and doing well.
Oh, so do I. But a comment has just come in there from YouTube, saying that perhaps it's our own fault for overhyping these players, overhyping the young fellas.
Yeah, because I think that's a good point, but I think because we encourage to play our younger players, where some other clubs don't, we like to. It's something that has always happened in the Jules Graham era, and also ever since I've been following football. You know, players like Liam Brady, Frank Stapleton, David O'Leary come through the ranks, and then Jules, you know, like the Jules Graham time. Stuart Robson was another one that come through the ranks.
Campbell came through the ranks.
Kevin Campbell come through the ranks, and then the likes of Paul Merson and Paul Davis was one just a bit before them that come through. So we've always done it. And it's I've always
made a player. We've always made players
with them, and always, you know, the likes of Kevin Campbell's, Paul Merson's of this world. We've always had a little special affection with them because they come through the ranks, and you know, even through the great Invincibles, we had Ashley Cole that come through, and a couple of guys have come through.
I've just been reminded we've missed a big one out, David Rocastle.
Oh, of course, Rocky. I mean, one of the best players ever to come out of the Arsenal, you know, and that era was fantastic, you know. And I can tell, you know, when people say about well, we give people like Iwobi gets a lot of stick, you know what I mean? Like, well, you go and ask Paul Davis what it was like when he first got into the Arsenal side. He got pelters, but he won the crowd over and become a crowd favourite. A lot of admiration for the likes of someone like Paul Davis, you know. David Rocastle, one of the, you know, saddest, you know, we're talking about players leaving, you know, when he went to Leeds, it was a sad day, you know, when he went to Leeds. Fantastic player. But what you know, they were great players, those boys that come through at that era. Tony Adams, of course, we've missed out, come through.
Michael Thomas, another one.
Michael Thomas, they all come through, done, you know, and we're, as fans, you have a lot of affection for them, and a lot of, you know, you always want them to do well. and you know, and not one to criticise Iwobi as much as probably a lot of other people do, because I still want him to do well, because it does show that we're a good football club, you know what I mean, that we are nurturing these boys on, like, you know what I mean, and what's name's coming, Nate Lamiles has come in this season and has been really good, really good.
I've got a lot of buddies who support Ipswich, obviously because of the area.
He was there for
to live in. He was in Ipswich for 2 years, and they were saying like they were gutted when he left.
Yeah,
they were saying like, he's the best footballer they've seen at Portman Road for a long time. You know, and they've had some. You know, over the years they've had some pretty handy players.
Yeah, so thank Ipswich for that, because they've sort of obviously nurtured him well. You know,
Mick McCarthy, I think, kind of nurtured him. You know, and put him in the team. Talking of loans, Ben Sheaf, I think, again another player we've only seen a little bit of, has gone on loan to Stevenage.
Shocked by that.
So am I. I thought he was doing all right. I keep a little eye on the old under-23s there, you know. And, he's been playing well for them.
He came on against West Ham in the quarter-final, of the League Cup.
That's right.
And we was winning. It was a bit touch and go. They put a few of their big guns on. He was only on for about 10 minutes, but every time he got the ball, he wanted the ball, kept the ball, and I thought, cool, that's a confident player. Come on with, you know, tricky 10 minutes to go. And I was quite impressed. I thought that maybe he'd be a little bit higher, but maybe that's where he needs to go, just to be a bit.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Yeah, perhaps they're saying, well, hang on a minute, this boy's got a bit about him. Let's get him out and competitive football, you know.
Yeah, and you know, like physicality wise, you know, going to the league Stevenage are in will probably be a bit more beneficial. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
it might, and he guaranteed to get games there if he was playing the Championship. Maybe not so many games, so maybe a wise move.
Maybe. And the papers are reporting also that we're trying to steal this Lucas fella, the PSG right winger. Personal terms agreed with Spurs, but there's whispers that he's talking to Arsenal as well.
Well, we still need to replace Theo Walcott, Craig. Who have we replaced Theo Walcott with?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
we still need to replace Robin van Persie, Lee.
Well, yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? So,
and David Seaman, and Patrick Vieira, and Tony Adams. You know, that would be good if we could get somebody like that. You know, I can't see Arsenal signing 3 or 4 players, but we definitely need, within the course of this window and the next window, I think 3 or 4 players. You know, let's be honest, at this moment in time, we're not good enough. Yeah.
The team's not good enough. The squad not good enough, because if it was, we wouldn't be where we are now. You can talk about the manager, you can talk about this, you can talk about that. Facts are, we're 6th in the league, and we are, I think, a country mile away from Manchester City, like most of them all that. But I still think we've got a lot of ground to make up on, who are, I think, in a better position than us, and they've just gone and strengthened. They will do in the summer. So to get back into that elite thing, we need 4 or 5 players, you know. So and I don't think if you get 5 players in at the same time in the summer, that would probably be good. But if we've got 2 maybe this time around, and another 3 in the summer, it could bode well for us.
Absolutely. Johnny Evans is another one that's been linked with us, Lee. I think we spoke about this briefly last week. Everyone's saying, Johnny Evans. I think he could be quite a good signing for us. He's experienced in the Premier League. He's come through good coaching. You know, he's come from Manchester United as a young fellow. He's come through their ranks.
So did just Silvestri.
Well, true, yeah.
Danny Welbeck.
He didn't really. He had a shocker yesterday, but then he had a shocker and then absolutely turns it round by doing a bloody ludicrous piece of skill on the edge of his own box and gets away with it. And of course now he's injured.
It suits us now, then.
Well, yeah, he'd fit right in. Let's say the injury's not too serious. You know, he's a week out. He's 2 weeks out. I think the price they're talking about is around £25 million. And Mike in the YouTube YouTube comments has absolutely read my mind, and it said that Johnny Evans is currently better than any. I wouldn't say any, but he's currently better than some of our centre backs that we've got now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's better than Chambers and he's better than Holding.
Yeah.
He's better than Mertesacker.
Holding, another one, is looking for a loan, I think, isn't he?
Brilliant,
yeah.
Brilliant. He needs to go out on loan and learn his game, learn his trade.
But back to Johnny Evans. Would Johnny Evans, for 25 million, would Johnny Evans be a good signing?
I'll say at this moment in time he would be for us. I will say this, but again, did we leave the Emirates? Did we leave Highbury to go to the Emirates to sign Johnny Evans?
But now, I'm going to stop you there now, because we spoke about this the other day. Now, I said to you, didn't I, that we're probably looking into it too much, because he's not a world-class £80 million central defender. You know, we're looking at his name. We're looking at his name. Oh, it's Johnny Evans. If he comes to us and he's worth, at £25 million in today's market, it's surely worth the risk.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that because it's a cheap option. If he's that good and he's that brilliant, why won't Liverpool enter him? Why don't Liverpool save their money?
Well, true.
And but for a cheap
let's put it this way, Lee. Van Dijk ain't worth 75 million.
No, of course he ain't. He ain't. But at the end of the day, he is to Liverpool. That's the thing. And I think at the end of it that Johnny Evans is a good solid signing, and I think with the way Koscielny is at the moment, we need, if you get 25 games out of Koscielny and the other 25 games out of Johnny Evans, and then like Johnny Evans and Mustafi can swap over, so that good signing. I will say that.
You say Liverpool didn't want him. Man City wanted him.
Yeah, and they didn't get him though, did they? Because they went for the £60 million option in Laporta.
Well, true. Yeah, okay. But if they hadn't have got him, Laporte or Laporte or however you bloody pronounce it, and Evans did go there. I mean, Pep Guardiola.
No, listen. He's a solid central defender, and I'm when I done my little rant about Johnny Evans, right? We hadn't signed any centre half at the time. We have actually now signed Mustafi on before that. You know what I mean? So along with someone like Johnny Evans in, it would be a better proposition for us when we've got Mustafi and Koscielny injured, and we go to the likes of Bournemouth with Holding and Chambers. So from that point of view, is a good signing. But if we got our best two out, I would still say that Koscielny and Mustafi were probably the better two. But from that point of view, yes, a good signing.
Yeah, absolutely. But you just can't trust Koscielny anymore.
No, the last two games...
I can't trust him anymore. I can't trust him, one, he's defending, and two, I can't trust him with his injuries.
No. But I think these last two games he's come back, he's been brilliant.
And then probably next week he'll
get injured.
Subbed off after 25 minutes. Mustafi's the same.
Yeah, I will go. But I'd rather go with Johnny Evans at Tottenham than Chambers or Holding.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
In that sort of game, what I mean? Yes. So if it's 25 million, it will do us for until we, we don't know what this Greek fella like. He might be the business in a couple of years' time. Yeah. So and also you still got Chambers and Holding have still got to develop, another 2 years. So if you've got 2 years of Johnny Evans and Koscielny and Mustafi, these other guys can still come on that. But I will say this, as we can still talk about Koscielny and Mustafi, we still concede goals with them two in the team as well. You know what I mean? I still think we need to get better than what we've got with them two as well. You know what I mean? I don't think that they're the answer. I really don't, I think we need to get two better central defenders in, because we keep conceding goals. Look at the game against Chelsea, opened up through the middle, and that's with Koscielny and Mustafi. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the sea opened, didn't it? And Hazard's had a free run into goal. So we've got to, people will turn around and say, oh, well, we maybe need a holding midfield player in there to protect that. Well, there you go. So there's someone else that we need. But we need the defenders perhaps need a bit of protection.
Well, we've got till, is it Thursday?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. Wednesday night, transfer deadline day.
Yeah.
Well, I'd see a centre-half turn up, and I'd like to see Aubameyang turn up. But if he doesn't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Listen, on Wednesday night, if we've got Aubameyang, we've got Evans, and we've got Mkhitaryan, I think that would be a positive window. So there's no negativity in that. That would be a positive window for us.
The judge has spoken.
There you go.
And on that note, I wish to thank everyone that's joined us this evening on YouTube. I would like to thank everyone that's joined us as well on Periscope. I spent most of Thursday night scrolling the internet, trying to find a way of sharing this stream to both at the same time. People were telling me, it's easy, do it this way, do it that way. It's easy, do it this way, do it that way. So I found a way to do it anyway, and I've done it, and it's working. I've got all the chats up in YouTube, and I've got another little app here that shows me all the chat from Periscope and YouTube at the same time, so I can still read your comments, as you know. So yeah, another positive. We've done a poll. We did change to Facebook Live, but it didn't seem to be going very well. I didn't think a lot of people liked it, to be honest. So I put a poll up the next day. I gave you 3 options, and everyone chose YouTube. So we've listened, and we're back on YouTube and Periscope. So it's all good. Judge, any final words?
No, that's it. Let's just hope that we'll get a positive couple of outcome on Tuesday night. Against Swansea, that we get the result there,
of course.
And then on the Wednesday we get some more positive news with a couple of signings. It'd be lovely to go to Swansea with those signings in the bag, but breaking news as we're travelling down to Wales that Aubameyang has been signed. But if we have to wait till the Wednesday, so be it. So hopefully it's a positive Tuesday and a positive Wednesday.
Now we're probably being trolled, but there's people. I think we are being trolled, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's people in the chat saying that Aubameyang's just been announced, but we're being trolled, I'd say. I nearly went to check Twitter there, but no, I'd say we're being trolled. You trolly trolls, I don't like you. Stay away, don't be trolling us. Thanks very much, lads. Thanks for all your positive comments in the chat boxes. A lot of you saying what a good show, and that you have enjoyed it. No, he hasn't. Mike Adams, no, he hasn't. Yeah, we've been trolled. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the platforms now that we're doing it on. And the fella who's trolling me is laughing at me now. Yeah, you got me. You got me. Thanks very much indeed, lads. Until the next time we see you, probably won't be this week, unfortunately, because I have daughter's school plays, and I won't have any time to be doing a show this week. So there won't be none this week, but we'll see you next week sometime. Thanks very much for sticking around. If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube yet, please do. And if you haven't followed us on Twitter either, come across and follow us at the same old AFC. It's good night from the judge.
Good night, and up the Gooners.
It's good night from me. Up the Arsenal. All the best.